whatever it gives to security is what it gives back to you. Every day is for the thief, or one day is for the owner. That talks about that the thief is 99 times smarter than the owner. That's what it means. Why you mustn't to think like one.
So can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you for that. So we'll start with information security fundamentals. So let's talk about the fundamental things, the core concepts of information security, because now you will say, okay, you said we are talking about ethical hacking. So why are we talking about information security first? Now, that is because all these things, cybersecurity, etc., they are all, their purpose is to ensure the security of informations of organizations. So, and that is why we need to talk about this first, so that you can understand where you're coming in from. And you won't just think, oh, because I'm learning, I want to become an hacker or something, and all I just want to do is just show skills, go to organizations and scatter their things and let it go. No, your purpose is actually to also improve the security posture of organizations. All right. So now, what is information security? Information security is a state of well-being of information and infrastructure in which the possibility of theft, tampering, and disruption of information and services is low or tolerable. So you can see information security is talking about the well-being of everything, data, etc., infrastructure, assets of individuals and even organizations, assets of everyone, what is important, what should belong to you, what you should have control over, what should be private to you and not be in the public. So that is what information security is focused on. Now, if you look at the definition completely, you can see they said it should be, the tampering or theft or disruption should be low or tolerable. Now, you say, why should it be low or tolerable? Why don't you say, oh, we eradicate it completely? You get that is because security cannot be 100%. You get, yeah, you can make efforts, yes, make efforts and make it, make your security so strong, full of resistance and all of that. But there will still be, one way or the other, there might still be some risk, some loopholes somewhere that you might overlook, or some of them is because you even need them. They are needed for, the operation of that organization. So that is the reason why the purpose of information security is to make sure that it is low, or tolerable. It is low or tolerable, not so high, not something that will, when a theft or any tampering takes place, it can ruin their reputation or even destroy their business plans. I know one thing, when we come to, organizations, businesses, what they are focused on more is how to make profits. You get the reason why most people start organization is because of you want to make profits. You need money. You want to make profit from it. Even NGO, like I said, even NGO still makes money one way or the other. So everybody wants to make money from it. So you don't want something that will take place, will happen, and then destroy your plan, destroy your operations for that day or even for a long time, or make you pack up. People have long years plans for their businesses, they want to celebrate 50 years of operation and all of that. Now, without having a strong security, something could happen, an attack could take place that will cause them to go through even bankruptcy. And they have to pack up, and their plans of, oh, we'll celebrate 50 years of operation will end. So making sure that any attack, any theft, any tampering, any disruption is low or tolerable. That is the purpose of information security. All right. So I hope I haven't lost anybody. Sorry, because I like, especially online classes, I like to, when I explain something, get a feedback. So just anytime I ask a question like that, I know you have been muted, just drop an emoji or something, a reaction, so that we can move on. All right. So now let's talk about the need for security. In as much as I spoke about the needs for information security, let's delve in more into it. Now, one of the reasons you can see there is that for ease of use. So the evolution of technology focus on ease of use. Like I said before, okay, sometimes you can't eradicate risk or threat completely, because there are some things that oh, these things, if we enable it, it can pose it will be like a loophole for us, but it is needed for your business operation. So you consider that also. So now, even just because I need this thing for my business operation does not mean I cannot think of a way to secure it. I need to look for a way to make sure that it is still secured to an extent. So, okay, yes, I need to access a room, or I need people to be able to enter our showroom, let's say our shop and everything. So that means I need to keep my door open. The door should be open. I can't shut the door and expect people to come in and patronize me. So I need the door to be open. Now, just because I need the door to be open does not mean I can't think of other ways to make sure that there is security even at that entrance, and which is why you find security guards, at the gate of organizations and all of that. We need the gate to be open for people to come in, but we can still put security guards there to verify, to do those things. Oh, hello, who are you looking for, and all of that. So those are the needs of for security. Now, rely on the use of computers for accessing, providing, or just storing information. Yes, now you can see every organization. Now, Nigeria is still, even like, we still do some manual stuff, but even so, you can still see that most organizations, even if you don't have a laptop in maybe your workplace, you have your phone, like your mobile phone, and you store a lot of information there. So we now rely on our computers, our gadgets, to store information. And the fact that they are stored there, that means what? Security is needed. Security is needed. So almost every organization, if they don't have, okay, they don't have a normal computer or something, they will have something they are using to store the information, sending invoice to customers, receiving payment, and all of that. So we rely on our gadget, on our computer. And since we now make use of them more, we need security. So increased network environment and network-based application. To increase, there are increase in all these things. There are increase every year. There are new revolution, there are new developments. If you are experiencing an issue before, in our business, we need something that can help us with this. Before you know, in few years, something has been developed to help you in that aspect. And then we have direct impact of security breach on the corporate assets and goodwill, and also increasing complexity of computer infrastructure administration and management. So these are needs for security. These are the reasons why we need security. Now, there are many more reasons, outside of this, many more reasons. Okay. So now, this information security we are talking about have some key elements that they are focused on. Like I said, we want your privacy to remain privacy. We want your assets to remain yours. We want something you're supposed to have control over to just be accessible to you alone. So these are the elements of information security. And one of it is what we call confidentiality. In information security, we want to ensure that confidential stuff remain confidential. To confidentiality. Now, that is the assurance that information is accessible only to those authorized to have access to it. That is what we call confidentiality. So if I want to share it to you, if I want you to be the one who have access to it, it should just be you who can access it. So I don't want, we have situation of, I sent something to you, it's supposed to be just to you, and then you send it out, you share it to others and all of that. So there are ways that information security, you can ensure that when I'm showing you this, it is just you that can see it. That is confidentiality. Only you can access it. You won't have any restriction because I want you to access it. That is what we call confidentiality. And that is one of the elements of information security, a very important one. Organizations need to, even to their customers, one thing they promise is confidentiality. When you're signing up for anything, They will let you know, oh, we are taking your information, your data for, our operation for so purpose, but we promise you, we won't exploit it, it won't be out there and all of that. And then we have integrity. We have integrity. Now, integrity is the trustworthiness of data, the trustworthiness of resources. So when I say, when I put this thing down and, oh, what I wrote there is I am a girl, I shouldn't come back and then I am saying I am a boy. So when I send I am a girl to you, it should get to you as I am a girl, not something else by the time it gets to you. So the trustworthiness, I can say, yes, this thing is actually correct. It is the way we left it, that is how it is. It is the way it was sent to me, that is how it is actually. So that is what we call integrity. So organizations want to ensure that integrity is in place. For instance, your banking, one thing they will promise you, or they will tell you, if you read, maybe you read the right signing up and everything, you took your time to at least glance through the terms and conditions. Even though I know Nigerians, we don't really read it. Not just Nigerians, I don't think most people don't read the terms and conditions because they are too long, and most times they are tiny. So you get tired of reading them, of going through it. But one thing they always say that is integrity. So when you have so amount in your account as your balance, it should be that amount. When somebody sends something, when I'm sending you a sum of, an amount, it should get to you as that amount. It is very important when it comes to the financial sector. Integrity is very, very important, because we will have seen now many times, we will have seen drama, seen posts online where people will go to banks and say, they remove my money, and you can see the drama that people are doing. When it comes to money, people can change it anyhow. My money should remain there. It should be they remove my money and all of that. So integrity is very, very important. These things are focused on organization and even individuals. So, and then thirdly, we have availability. Now, these things I mentioned, I don't know if you've heard of or you've seen it online while going to, because I know most of us, we do research when we want to come for ethical hacking training like that, or any information security thing. You try to do some research, you go online and see some things, at least have an overview, so that you won't come and just be looking like, okay, I don't know anything. So I don't know if you've heard of this term before, called the CIA triad. The CIA triad. So these are like the first um um three elements that are included in that CIA triad. The C stands for the confidentiality, the I for the integrity, and the A for availability. Now, what is availability? Availability means that whenever an authorized person needs to access a thing, they should be able to access it. It should be made available for them whenever they need it. Whenever something is needed, they should be able to access it. So yes, you made me an authorized person who can access this thing. The integrity is in place. Yes, what is there is correct. But yes, I cannot access it. So what's the usefulness? I'm trying to, when you're trying to maybe you want to sign into or log into something of your bank app, and you cannot log in, you can't sign in, and you and what's going on? I cannot sign in, and I need to make this transfer, I need to make this payment, I need to withdraw this. You can imagine the frustration. So the plan of information security is to make sure that it reduces this frustration of things not being available to you when you need it. So availability is the assurance that the systems responsible for delivering, for storing, for processing information are accessible when required by the authorized users. So they're accessible. Now, imagine you want to join this call now, you want to join this meeting, and you could not. I'm sure a lot of people have been in maybe Glory's DM saying, I cannot enter, I cannot access it, I cannot, you can find the frustration, I can't use it, I can't. So as a customer, and customers are now calling you saying we can't use your resources, you can't, that even using the resources, let's say their mobile app or their website organization, they are also generating revenue from this. So these things are important. I remember I told you, businesses are focused on profit. Every organization wants to make profit. So you have to consider the fact that this thing, our resources are not available, customers cannot patronize us for now. They are losing money and they don't want to. So availability must be in place. Then we have what we call authenticity. So that is the quality of being genuine. Now, we've been talking about authorized people, authorized users, and all of that. How do I ensure that truly these are the authorized users? How do I know that, yes, how do I recognize the authorized users? So that is what we do in authenticity. That is what authenticity is based on, of being genuine, that yes, okay, this person is actually the a correct user, has an account with us and all of that. And that it is at this level that you have things like your, your biometrics, something to authorize you, to authenticate you and all of that. Your authentication, etc. That is what you do in authenticity. So that's what is focused on, to ensure that yes, truly, the authorized are actually the authorized users. The real resources, it's actually the real resources. What I'm accessing is actually the correct thing I'm using. I'm using the right system and not the wrong one. So this refers to the characteristics of a communication document or any data that ensures the quality of being genuine. So those are the purposes. You say, okay, why are they stressing us? Why is it that when I want to, let's use OPay for instance, open your mouth, shake your head, open your eyes, blink twice, blink this. These are for what? For authenticity. That is why it's not because OPay just want to stress you. They just want you to open your mouth to see, your nice teeth and all of that. That is not the reason. It's to ensure that yes, you are actually, you are a genuine person, you are a genuine user. So that is what authenticity is based on. Because if I do not make sure that it's actually the authorized person that is using, if another person accesses it, the blame will still come, on the organization. Then lastly, we have what we call non-repudiation. Non-repudiation. So that's a guarantee that the sender of a message cannot later deny having sent the message, and that the recipient cannot deny having received the message. So what non-repudiation just wants to ensure is that you cannot deny your activities. You cannot deny, you cannot say, imagine you maybe you go to, let's use an online shopping platform, for instance, Jumia. You just say you go to Jumia office and you're like, so you are a user on Jumia, you have an account with them, maybe you've even linked your card and all of that to it, and you just go one day and say, oh, to their office, they now have some offices where you can walk in and say, I didn't authorize it, somebody purchased something from my account and all of that. That will look like it's the fault on Jumia. Now, when they want to find out, are you sure you are not the one who actually authorized it? There are ways they can do that, whereby you cannot deny that. Because if non-reputation is not in place, people will have done that a lot of time. Purchase things, then go back and say, I did not buy it, or you need to refund me my money. I didn't authorize it. But now, there's something we call digital signature, whereby which is used for non-repudiation also. But let me put it in someone you can relate to, in the aspect of the Jumia I was talking about, like shopping online. Now, you went to the platform, you selected the goods that you want to buy, you proceeded to check out. Now, when you went to the platform, when you went to the platform, or maybe using the mobile app, you signed in. Okay, let's now say maybe an attacker, somebody was able to get your password. We will leave that one. You signed in, you picked your goods, whatever you want to buy, you proceeded to check out, you proceeded to check out. And one thing on those apps for this was is that they give you this option of, to confirm that are you actually the one who wants to buy this after proceeding to check out. Choose your payments, selection. To select your payment way, you pick your paying with your card. Now, there is a way they will send you, they definitely send you an OTP to your number, or maybe an email that you link to it. They send you an OTP, you are able to input the OTP. They ask for your password, you're able to input the password before the final what's it called? Final purchase. Before the purchase was finalized. Now look at all these things you did. So It means if truly you were not the one who authorized that payment or that purchase, then the fault will come from you, because the attacker was able to get your login details. The attacker was able to get the OTP that was sent to your number to verify. And then the attacker was able to know even your card password. So it won't the fault. You can't say you want to sue Jumia. You have to check yourself to know, is it that you were not careful with your details, or maybe check people around you. Do you understand? That is just what non-reputation are for, so that organizations can avoid all these things. They will have evidence that no, we didn't do it. The fault is not from us. So you will be able to, you can't deny you can't deny your activity. You can't deny something, doing something or not doing the thing. That is what non-reputation is based on. So can I get some reactions again, because I've been talking, so I don't want to lose anybody. I need to know you're here with me. All right. Thank you.
Yes, we
Thank
are
you.
here. We're here with you.
Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the security, functionality, and usability triangle. I made mention of the fact that ease of use before, when I was explaining the need for security, ease of use. Because we want you to be able to use this thing, and the fact that you want to use this thing, it might be, a loophole in our setup, in our security framework, in our security postures. So now that is what we will explain in this security, functionality, and functionality and usability triangle. So the level of security in any system can be defined by these three components. Now, which is this? The security is, with security comes restriction. With security comes, you cannot enter that place. You cannot do that. You cannot stand there. You shouldn't, you shouldn't do this. You shouldn't do that. You can, once you hear security, just know they are talking about restrictions. Because security will come with restrictions, it will come with rules, things people want to be able to do. But for security purposes, they cannot do it. You will not be allowed to do it, because if you're able to do it, now look at this morning now, I think for security purposes, everybody was muted, whereby if you are not maybe using a pro account or something, you can unmute yourself. You can turn on your camera. That is an example of a security, and you can see the restriction in it. So imagine you want to enter, you want to turn on camera and greeting everybody, hey, hello, alpha, good morning, but you can't turn on your camera, you can't turn on your mic, because of the restriction that has been put in place. Now, when we now talk about functionality, those are the features, the features in, let's say, for instance, in an app that you're using and all of that, the usability, which is the GUI, your graphic user interface, the fine things you are seeing that makes, that interface beautiful to you, that you can press and all of that, all those graphics they are seeing, that is what we call it. Now, by the time you want to make the functionality more, you want your customers or your users to be able to do more things on their own. It means what? Your restriction, your security will have to reduce. It will be going down. It will be going down. Your security will have to reduce. Now, look at, let's say, for instance, a concert, all those all those music concerts and all of that, like those video concerts. They want, it's more that they want many people to come in from. You can see there's no real, everybody just go to the stadium filled with numbers of people, and and from there they stole my thing, they did this, they did that, because nobody verified. They want people to be able to come in, so they can't put restrictions. Imagine the number of people coming and they want to say, oh, security guys be checking everybody and all of that. No, they want people to be able to be something friendly for them. They want the crowd. So because of that, they remove security. In as much as they'll say, oh, we have security guys around, but not for restriction purposes of check who is coming in or who is coming to the stadium to come and join the concert. So when the more functionality is, the lesser security becomes. The lesser security becomes. So, but for places, that okay, we want the security to be strong. We don't want rowdiness. We want to be able to know who came in or who attended and all of that. Because it's usually not like an open space something. Because they want you to register, they want you to do this. Those are just examples of security. So the more functionality, the more control, the more ease of use we want you to have, the more our securities keep reducing. Now, in security, we have some challenges. There are some challenges which we call the security challenges. One of it is what we call compliance to government laws and regulation. Compliance to government. We'll still talk about some laws and regulation now. Because organization want to stick to the laws, want to stick to the rules that maybe the standard bodies of government have given, sometimes they are not able to do some things that that is needed. And the fear of we need to comply, so I will not be fined, is also there. It is also there. Now imagine let's say an organization, let's say a a an hospital, health centers, they have some rules when it comes to how they keep the data of their patients and all of that. So they have things they must put in place. They have things they must, for them to be approved, for them to be recognized. They have things they need to focus on and all of that. Now, mind you, just because maybe at the beginning, they were able to put in place all these things that that the laws and regulation entails, doesn't mean if there are any, maybe in the future, there is now an attack or something, they will still not face the consequence that comes with an attack or maybe a breach of privacy and all of that. So compliance to government laws and regulation, you have to check your own posture, check what you want to do, your policy, and make sure that it aligns to the laws of whichever country or continent you'll be operating in. Then we have lack of qualified and skilled cybersecurity professionals. And that is why we are having things like this. Now you can see organizations that we are trying to invite more people to come in so that we can have more people, on the ethical side, than everybody just have some skills that they can do this. And because there are no proper guidance and mentorship, they use it for their own motive or their own whichever way they are able to use it. So lack of qualified and skilled cybersecurity professionals. You can see some bodies, for instance, like IC Square, giving out vouchers for people to come in. They just need more professionals, more skills, more people to come in, more people to grow in it. So because the more people we have on the ethical side, the more we're able to counter the malicious activities. Difficulty in centralizing security in a distributed computing environment. So these are challenges, these are security challenges. Fragmented and complex privacy and data protection regulation. Compliance issue due to implementation of bring your own device policies in company. Like I said before, okay, even if your own organization, you don't use any you have a computer or even a laptop or something to do your operation, but there are some things that one way or the other still get to your phone. Some people use organizations bring your own device to do your work. You have some company files and all that on your own device, on your own laptop, on your own phone. Now, how do they ensure that the information of that organization on your phone or your own device or your gadget stays safe without them invading your own privacy or tampering your own property, your own things, your own information on your phone? Because staff can be very fun. You have people that you do not even think that some people are nonchalant. They don't just drop your phone, leave it open and all of that, leave your computer open and say, well, I want to quickly use the toilet, the restroom and all of that. And you feel this is just my own personal thing. This is my device that I bought with my money. But you have organizations' property, organizations' information, their data, their documents on your device. We've heard of situations whereby people say, oh, the flash, I have a flash that contains my company job, our work, the projects we're working on, some of the things, the project, the product they're developing, and then they lost that flash on the way. We're going to work. I didn't even know it fell down from my bag. Imagine somebody had access, saw that flash drive, that USB drive, and then picks it up, go through it, and see. So relocation of sensitive data from legacy data center to the cloud without proper configuration. So these are security challenges. Now let's talk about the motives, the goals and objective of information security attack. Because when there's an attack, there will definitely be something the attacker is looking for. There's something, the person who launched the attack, there's something you are looking for. You have a motive, you have a goal, you have something you want to achieve. So for every attack, there is definitely a motive. If I say, oh, I want to do something now, there is something I want to achieve from it. There is something I am looking for. There's something I need. And that is what I want to carry out. I can't just, without needing anything, let's say I don't need anything. I don't need to buy anything or get anything. And I just had to go out. Even as there sometimes you say, oh, you just want to take a stroll, maybe you're bored or you just want to exercise or something. But without those things, mostly people will not leave their houses. They will just stay there because I don't need anything outside. Now, but for a reason why I'm going is because I actually need to do something. I have a goal. I have something I need to achieve. So that is also the same thing that comes with attack. So as an ethical hacker or security personnel, you should be able to think of all these things the way a malicious hacker will think. So they have a goal. They have something they want to achieve. And after having the goal, what I'm looking for, what I want to achieve, I must have a method to carry out that thing. I must have a method to do that thing. Okay, I want to be able to, or I want to listen to what this person is saying. I want to listen to the person's conversation on the phone. I must have a method to be able to listen to that conversation. So if I'm close by to the person, okay. If I'm far from the person, what method will I use? But I want to listen to their conversation on the phone. And then for every method you want to use, there must definitely be a vulnerability. And vulnerability is, in simple words, the weakness, the loophole that I've been mentioning. So the weakness, there must be a weakness, there must be a loophole somewhere for you to actually, make use of that method, carry out your motive, achieve your goal. There must be a vulnerability. So is it that this person is not careful about our environment? She doesn't care about what's going on. And I can just, stay close, do as if I'm doing something around, or I'm cleaning and start listening to their conversation, eavesdropping on whatever they're saying. Or I want to check what she's doing on her phone or laptop. Or let me just stay behind, do as if I'm doing something there and start peeping from the back. So there must be a way you want to carry out your attack. So a motive originates out of the notion that the target systems store or process something valuable. Something valuable. If there's nothing valuable there, what do I want to go and be looking for? You mind your business and you drink tea. So it comes from the motive that this thing has something valuable. When I want to attack a bank, it's because I believe that they have something valuable there for me. They have money that they are working with. They're working with money. People are coming in with cash and all of that. So if armed robbers decide to rob the bank, it's because they believe that something valuable is there. So amount of money, I can get it from there. And also it comes from that notion that there's something valuable you need. And this leads to the threat of an attack on the system. So attackers try various tools and attack techniques to exploit vulnerabilities, to exploit weaknesses in a computer system or its security policy and controls in order to fulfill their motives. Now, what are the motives behind information security attacks? I've been mentioning some of them. One of the motives is this disrupting business continuity. Disrupting, you don't want them to work maybe as maybe a competitor, you have two organizations close to each other, or the one about just giving the scenario close to each other, and one is making sales, the other one is not making sales. You want those ones to shut down, so that the customers can divert their attention to you and you start selling. So disrupting business continuity, you don't want the business to continue. You don't want them to make sales. You don't want them to do their the activity for that day. And that's why people do there's a type of attack we call denial of service. So you just want to shut that thing down. You want to render it useless. You don't want it to be useful. And most organizations cannot do everything they're supposed to do, what they're supposed to access, information they're supposed to process, and all of that. There are many times that, in as much as that is not like a denial service, but I'm just saying that you've maybe you went to a banking hall to do anything, and they tell you network is bad, and they won't do anything. Network is bad, network is not good, and they won't do it. Whatever you want to do, they will tell you to come back another day. Now let's leave the part that maybe sometimes the staff sometimes do that because they are tired or they don't want to work. But let's not say truly they had, an attack that shuts down their systems. It means what they can't actually attend to anybody for that day. The business cannot continue till they are able to sort it, even if it's for a few hours or so, till they are able to sort it. And stealing information and manipulating data. Stealing information and manipulating data. You can see where integrity comes in. In information, you can see where integrity comes in. So we don't want to be able to manipulate our data. So when people want to steal information, that information is valuable, it is useful, it's something they need, or they even want to just change it, make you do the wrong thing or not get the right information. Creating fear and chaos. Creating fear and chaos by disrupting critical infrastructures. Imagine a building, imagine there's fire outbreak in an organization. Definitely there's no best student, best staff of the day that will stand and say, me, I'll continue working, even though the building is burning. Of course not. Fear comes in and everybody runs out and try to evacuate the building. Causing financial loss to the target. Yes, any attack, any breach that, maybe breach of information or that takes place, usually organizations lose money to it. Now, if you go online and check how much, from last year to this year, how much has organization lost to maybe breach of data or whatever, you will see it in millions of dollars. Because like I said before, for every attack, there will be government will find you for that. They might even shut you down. Customers, your client, that maybe their information was displayed online, or they will sue you and say, nowadays everybody, my mental health, I saw my information online, it affected my mental health. You will pay for their mental health. You pay for not securing their data properly. You pay for so financial losses. And let's even say, okay, that one did not happen, but your assets, your infrastructures, your gadgets were destroyed. It means what you have to buy new ones. You have to get new ones. And that is also what it takes finances. Then we have damaging the reputation of the target. Damaging the reputation of the target. Yes, it does. Damaging the reputation of the target when there's an attack. People will not trust the organization anymore, or people will not trust you anymore. So imagine I sent you something and I told you, oh, don't share this thing with anybody, it's just for you. And one way or the other, somebody was able to, you didn't send it, but somebody, maybe from carelessness or through social engineering, someone got that information, got that thing I sent to you, and started placing it online or outside for the public. Now, for the fact that you were the only one I told or I showed means you'll be my first suspect. I'll just look at it and say, you cannot be trusted. How can I give you something and you put it outside? So your reputation has been destroyed. Even if I know that, okay, truly you're not the one who shared it, but I won't trust you. I won't trust you enough to send my confidential things to you anymore, because I'll say that's how somebody will go to your phone and take it again. So it damages reputation of the target. It damages the reputation of the target. You will have heard of it. Oh, our shares started going down or from after an attack. Shares of organizations start going down. Investors want to drop out and all of that. So those are the motives behind information security attack. All right. Yes, taking revenge. Taking revenge, demanding ransom. You offended me or you didn't see me, I'll do my own to back. Or you want to demand ransom. They attack just because they want for money purposes, because they need money. So these are the motives behind information security attack. Okay. So let me see some reactions again before I move on. Hello. All right. Okay. Now let's talk about the classifications of attack. The classifications of attack. I've made mention of different things. Now, all these things, we can classify them. Orderliness is you have to be organized. So how to classify these attacks, all these different examples I've given, you did this, they did that to you and all of that. They have classes and how to recognize them properly to know this is what you did. We want to put names to everything. And number one class of attack is what we call passive attack. Passive attack, and I've made mention of it before. Somebody dropping, somebody just peeping behind it. Those are passive attack because you are not, you did not tamper with anything. You didn't destroy anything. You didn't intercept anything. When you are eavesdropping, let's say someone is at my door now and eavesdropping. The person didn't, I don't even know you are there. You didn't do anything. You didn't break the door. You didn't, you get it. You were just able to hear what I was saying. So that is an example of passive attack. The attacker do not tamper with the data and involve intercepting and monitoring network traffic and data flows on the target network. So you are only just monitoring, seeing what's going on. Just like as if you're observing from observation. So if somebody is outside the compound and just observing who is going in, who is coming out, just looking. That's like a passive attack. You didn't go and stop anybody from coming in. You didn't break the gate to see who is. You just stood outside. Nobody can attack you or blame you or for just standing or passing by and seeing what's going on. Then we have what we call active attack. Active attack. Now, in active attack, you tamper with the data in transit or disrupt the communication or services between the system to bypass or break into secured systems. In passive attack, you are one way or the other going against integrity, going against confidentiality. You are tampering with things, you are changing it. An example of that is denial of service I made mention of before. You tampered with my system, you tampered with my network, you shut it down, you make it useless for me to use. You carried out technical activities on it. Man in the middle attack, session hijacking. These things are active. It's not just like you just stood somewhere and watching, you're just monitoring, or you're just have the opportunity to be in that. You actually did something. You carried out some things. You maneuver your way. You send some payload to do some attack to me. That is what we call an active attack. We have closing attacks. Closing attacks. So these are performed when the attacker is in close physical proximity with the target system or network in order to gather, modify, or disrupt access to information. Okay, someone is raising up their hands. Can you unmute?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for the class that is ongoing at the moment. But For this particular active attack that you mentioned, I can say that there's an SQL injection. So I just want to add, since there's an SQL injection, does that mean that cross-site scripting as well and indoor attacks is also part of it, or just strictly to SQL session
No.
hijacking?
There are many other attacks. Those are just few examples. There are many other attacks for inactive many other methods in active attack. So yes, cross-site scripting, that's also an active attack. There are many other ones. Those are just few. We just listed out few for you. There are many attacks. Like there are lots of ways. People are developing different ways and different skills every day. Okay, I think someone else is raising a bright. Oh, okay.
Okay. Good morning. Good morning, Blessing. Please,
Right, you can go on.
sorry. Okay. Good morning, Blessing. Thank you for the opportunity. My question, maybe I don't know if you might have said it while I was kind of distracted, kind of attending to something here outside. Please, I just want to get some real life example of that cross-site scripting as well as the SQL injection. How does this attack occur? If you can give some real life example, I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Now, when you do when you do an SQL injection attack, you are actually, that is an attack that you focus on a database. It's an attack that is focused on the database of the platform you are using. You are trying to, talk to the database directly. You are trying to reconfigure it to accept you, to allow you to do some malicious things you want to do. Sometimes people do that maybe because they want to have access to an account that they're not supposed to. They want to use other people's credentials to be able to get to access that platform. So it's an attack that is focused more on the database. Now, when we talk about cross-site scripting, that one is more like your website interface and all that. I'll give you an example. Have you been on, maybe you are browsing on any other, you're on another website doing something else, and you clicked on maybe a button, sometimes, most especially when you want to download something online, and you click on the download button, and then that download button start leading you to Bet Naija platform, when you're on something that is entirely different, not even related to Bet Naija. So that is an example of cross-site scripting, leading you to a third-party page and all of that. That is an example. So I hope these few examples I gave you are okay with you.
Okay, Blessing. Yeah, I for this cross-site scripting, yes, I've experienced that, right? And though that of the SQL injection, I'm still trying to see how that occurs in real life. Like, okay, perhaps can you like give me okay, how can that be prevented for the SQL injection and as well as the also the cross-site, right? Because to me, it's kind of like a norm. You are going on, especially I want to stream online matches and I'll just click on one button and take me. So am I safe? Let me use the word, am I safe? Because to me, I experience that on a daily basis and I've accepted it as a norm. So am I safe? I'm not safe. What can I do about that? And as well as how can I prevent the SQL injection? I'm really keen on that.
Oh, the thing is, for SQL injection, that is not your own per se. That is not something that you can defend yourself against. It's now on the developer, on those are the admin backend to do. They are, like I said, it is an attack on on the database. So it's not like you are the one who created that platform you are using. You are not the one who created this team app you are using. So you can't if somebody wants to access your account on this team, is not something that, yes, there are ways like maybe you do two-factor authentication, all those authenticity method I mentioned, you get for your own safety. But when it comes to SQL injection or somebody modifying the database layer and all of that, that is not something that that is totally in your own control. But when we come to cross-site scripting, yeah, you clicked on, maybe you like I said, with your live streaming, and then it's leading you somewhere else. Yeah, you have, there's that option you do, you instantly go back, you press your back button and then you continue. you will continue to, but be careful of sites like that, sites that allows cross-site scripting. Be careful of your information that you drop there. So imagine a site like that is, telling you are dropping more detailed or more personal information on it. It means that site is vulnerable. So be careful of the information you drop on it. Or sometimes even that cross-site scripting, they led you to another site, and you now decide to even entertain that other website they took you to. You decide to start exploring things. There are sometimes that you are doing something and sometimes it even leads, it was rampant. It started leading you to some porn sites. And some people, from the images they see, they want to click, oh, I saw it, and they want to click on that image and continue engaging that site they went to. So try as much as not to engage that site, regardless of what you are seeing now, attractive it is. And on the main site you read, be careful of the information you are dropping on it. That's if it is so important for you to use. But if it's something you can avoid, just avoid it and get and use the legitimate ones. Like for instance, people that want to download free movies, going on those sites, they are vulnerable to cross-site scripting. You want to download them and they're leading you somewhere else. So please, in this life, if you are not paying with your money, you are paying with something else. Nothing is free. Like I have been taught, so nothing is free on this earth. So if you are not paying with your money, you are paying with something else. You are paying with your information, whatever it is. You are paying in other ways.
Okay, bless it. So just okay, let me just give you more one as I'm keen on this two stuff you mentioned, right? I'm a QA engineer, quality assurance engineer, right? And I test software. So I get you said it's not my domain for me to know, but let's I'm testing data, I'm testing because I also test database to see. So what can I look out for as a loophole to advise, oh, this your database is not secured from SQL injection, do XYZ to make it secured. So that's why I'm asking, so I will know how to
Okay.
properly
You know what?
advise and what to look out for.
All right. We will still get to there's part of the modules for this training talks about the SQL injection. So you get there and you get proper details. So we won't like to delay this class because of others, but you get proper details on how to do that. So there's still a module that tends to SQL injection. So I hope you can yes.
Okay,
So
that's
you'll
that
be
problem. I'm
you'll be
looking
taught
towards that.
about that.
Thank you so much.
All
Thank
right.
you. I'm looking
You're
towards that.
welcome.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Okay. All right, so let's continue. Yeah, I was explaining closing attack. So an example of closing attack, which I mentioned before, social engineering, such as eavesdropping. For you to be eavesdropping, it means you are close, you are in physical proximity with me, you are around me. That is the reason why you could eavesdrop. Shoulder stuffing that I made mention of. You want to see what I'm typing, maybe on my phone or something, and then you start peeping. That's what we call shoulder stuffing. You want to go over from my knee to see what I'm pressing, and so that's what we call shoulder stuffing. Another example, we have dumpster diving. So for you to do a dumpster diving, it means you are close by, you are around dumpster, like you are going to my dustbin, to our trash side and trying to bring out useful things you could meet there. Especially when you go to banks, I believe now people are now more aware. But there was a time that especially those uh, adults, when they go to bank, maybe they want to sign up for some things or sort some things on their account, and they give them those forms to fill. And especially forms that maybe it has the page of including your BVN in it. They included it and made a mistake one way or the other. They just take the paper. Sometimes they just accidentally they tore it into two. You get straight and put it inside the dustbin. Now, just because you tore it into two does not mean I cannot pick it later. The BVN is still showing you there. It's still that I can make use of it. You get, so that's what we call dumpster diving. So going into the trash can and getting whatever people drop there, that can still be useful to you. So those are examples of closing attack. You can't be far from me, being another country, and then you want to do a dumpster diving. My dustbin cannot fly to you there. So we have insider attack. Involves using privileged access to violate rules or intentionally cause a threat to the organization's information or information system. So example of this, we have example includes thefts of physical devices, and planting keyloggers, backdoors, and malwares. So for you to steal, for you to have access to steal a a physical device, a complete laptop, or a CP of an organization, it means you are an insider. You are somebody who, when you are even taking it as a security men, they recognize as one of their staff. They won't tell you, that laptop, is it your own? They won't ask you that. So those are example of insider attack. You go in, you plant keylogger. You will have seen movies when especially those cyber movies, that they'll say, oh, somebody went the plants, maybe inserted the USB flash to the system and then copied a lot of things, or installed some malwares on it and all of that. So those are insider attack. It is somebody who is inside, who knows where to go, where to access, can access a confidential room. There are some rooms that they will tell you unauthorized people should not enter and all of that. So it is someone who is inside that can do those things. Distribution, and that's at least some privilege. You have some privilege to an extent that you won't be questioned. So distribution attack occurs when attackers tamper with hardware or software prior to installation. So imagine let me say you bought you bought this has happened to somebody before, bought a purchase AC, yes, this air conditioner, those standing inside, and they just noticed that after they moved in, frequently once they bring in anything valuable, thief will come in, they'll come and rob them, they'll steal everything. No matter how much they try to conceal that thing, cover it by bringing it into the house, those thieves will still know that they've brought in something valuable and they'll still come and rob them. And after, different things, and at first, Nigerians, you think it's spiritual attack, but not everything is spiritual attack. But after they moved away from that apartment, went to another place, at least they move with their things. The same thing still continued. So after proper investigation, they found out that before that CCTV was even, that fridge was even, the AC was even brought to the apartment, a camera has been implanted inside it. So that makes it easy for the attackers to see what they brought in, even if they cover it from outside. By the time you get inside, at least you want to open what you brought inside. That makes it easy for them to see what they are doing, where they kept things. So in distribution attack, it's just like prior to whatever you are purchasing, that software you are buying, that thing you want to use in your organization, the system, it has been, tampered with in transit. It has been tampered with at the source before it even got to you. Okay, now I can't remember the last person who asked about other active attack. That is only just those three. So you can see many other ones that have been listed there for you. But denial of service, malware attack, modification of information, password-based, session hijacking, so there are many attacks. So cross-site scripting, cryptography attack, backdoor attack. So there are many attacks. Those were just few examples listed out, and you can research more on all this. You can research more on all these other attacks that we have. So information security attack vectors. We need to move fast. So we have what we call cloud computing threats. We have advanced persistent threats, which we'll still be talking more on all these things. APT, advanced persistent threats. So an attack that is focused on stealing information from the victim machine without the user being aware of it. That is what it is focused on. So it means, and one thing about APT is that the attack or the user, the attacker might have been in your system, around in your, in your things for a long time, even a year, staying there and drinking tea, just monitoring everything, stealing whatever. You say, oh, our own policy. My policy is that every 3 months I'll be changing my password. Every month I'll be changing my password. For an APT, if you change your password this month, the attacker can see it because it's there, checking everything, monitoring everything, living rent-free in your device, in your system, in your network. Change it in the next month. Every changes you made, is able to see it. Is able to, observe everything without you knowing. So we have viruses and worms. Viruses and worms, I'll explain that when we get to malware threats properly. So the most prevalent networking threats that are capable of infecting a network within seconds, especially when it comes to worms. You don't need to say, oh, I didn't collect any money from anybody, or I didn't authenticate it, I didn't authorize it to take place. As far as you are just on that network, it's easy, it spreads to you, you get infected within seconds. So we have ransomware. Like I mentioned, that some of the motive that an attacker could have is that they want to demand ransom, they want to request some money. So when you do a ransomware, when an attacker do a ransomware, they want to demand what? For money. They need money. That's why you do a ransomware attack. In a ransomware attack, you encrypt everything. You encrypt all the assets. You encrypt folders. You encrypt files of your victim. So restrict access to the computer systems, files, and folders, and demand an online ransom payment to the malware creators in order to remove the restriction. So we have mobile threats. This mobile threat is even because one thing that focuses more on people is our mobiles. We use them more than people store information more on their mobile self, use it more for basic things than going to their laptop or computers. So we have botnets, insider attack, phishing, web application threats, IoT threats. Yes, IoTs are now every Internet of Things. IoTs are now, more popular. So in a botnet is a huge network of the compromised system used by an intruder to perform various network attacks. Insider attack, an attack performed on a corporate network or on a single computer by an entrusted person. I explained insider attack before, by an entrusted, someone who has privilege that even when you're doing it, not most people will ask you questions and say, what are you doing there? Why are you carrying that thing? An entrusted person. So for a phishing, the practice of sending an illegitimate email. This phishing is popular. Phishing is one attack that is so popular because I think it's like the number one go-to of most attackers when they want to do something. So phishing is quite popular. So many people will have received that. One time, in your life, you will have come across phishing attack. You will have get emails and that's why you have the option of spam. So once your email said that this thing looks like an illegitimate email, spams it, you get. So because one way or the other, you'll have people who just send you emails that has malicious links and all of that in them. So web application threats, we use web application a lot, mostly now. We have web applications and apps for almost everything. This meeting we are holding on Team, we have the Team app. Although you could do the meeting on the website using your normal browser, you get. But for ease of of access, things like your web applications are now put in place where you can access it easily. Your bank app. It's not like the banks do not have their website. Going to your browser and doing www.gtbank. Whatever it is. But for ease of access, they want to be able to do your transactions easily. Those are the things they tell us when they're advertising. You're banking at the tips of your finger or something, something you can easily access. And this makes, and all these things also have their own threat. Like I told you, the more you move towards functionality, the lesser security becomes. Okay. Now let's talk about various laws and regulations. In information security. Various laws and regulations. Everything that has to be guided. If not, people will just be doing. If you are not working by some laws, everything will just be scattered. So for every sector, there are rules, there are laws that guides them. So number one of the laws and regulation is what we call PCI DSS. PCI DSS stands for Payment Card Industry Data Security Standard. And from the word, it focuses on industries that are involved in things like your your credit card, your POS, your ATM, and all of that. There are rules, because if there are no laws to make sure they ensure the user's privacy or the user security, things will just be anyhow. So these are laws that organizations that make that, as far as you want to get involved into, you want to start giving out ATM, start giving out all these things, you must follow these rules, you must follow these laws. So the PCI DSS is a proprietary information security standards for organizations that handle card holders information for major debit, credit, prepaid, EPOS, ATM, and POS cards. So for any industry that they are into this, just know they have to work by the PCI DSS. So the PCI DSS applies to all entities involved in payment card processing. To all entities. So you are involved in payment card, you want to start doing this, you must stand by it, you must go by this law. Now, what are the things you find in the PCI DSS? One, build and maintain a secure network. Protect cardholder details, like I said, protect cardholder details. Maintain a vulnerability management program. Implement strong access control measures. Regularly monitor and test your network. Maintain an information security policy. Now, in as much as in the real PCI, these things are more detailed, they are more explained on how to carry this out. But this is like an overview of what you find in the PCI DSS law and regulation. We have what we call ISO also. ISO, that is also quite popular. Anyone interested in your research for, you want to come into cybersecurity, information security, these are some of the things you might have seen before during your research. So the ISO focuses on different aspects of different operations or things organizations can want to venture in. So it specifies the requirement for establishing, for implementing, for maintaining, and continually improving on information security management system within the context of the organization. So those are the things that the ISO standards will guide you through, guides organization through how you establish, how you implement, how you maintain, how you continually improve your information security. So that it won't be that last 5 years, your security posture is still the same as this year. Because every year, every now and then, attacks are evolving, new things, new ideas are coming out. So with all these ISOs, which is why they keep increasing every year, 2022 and all of that, to keep updating their own guidelines too. That these are now the things going on, these are the things you can do to work by, these are the things you can work by. So it is intended to be suitable for several different types of use, including use within organization to formulate security requirements and objectives. So within an organization, use it to formulate their own security requirements, to formulate their objective. That's what they use ISO for. Use within organization to ensure that security risks are cost effectively managed. They are cost effectively managed because security risk can be so expensive. It can be so expensive. So use within organization to ensure compliance with laws and regulation. You see that compliance with law and regulation, as far as you want to be on the ethical line, you must be checking it all the time. You must be checking it. Hope what I'm doing, I haven't gone against the laws and regulation. because cyber security, information security, and and court, they are like 5 and 6. They are close. It's easy to just jump from being a free man to being a prisoner. So, definition of new information security management processes. Information security management, identification and clarification of existing information security management processes, and many other things. So those are the guidelines, the things, the overview of the ISO. Now, we also have what we call the HIPAA, Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. This one is the one that focuses on the health side. Health insurance, so health workers, so hospitals, etc. This is the standard, the laws that focuses on them. So, and we also have, apart from all these ones, we have some laws and standards that belongs to some particular country. You get, so every country too, we have their own laws that works with them, that goes for their own environment. So you can research more on that. Okay, so we have Digital Millennium Copyright Act. We have Federal Information Security Management Act, FISMA, GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Yes. So this one focuses on general, as far as you are dealing with data, you'll be getting data of people and saving it and storing it. GDPR covers that. So the GDPR regulation was put into effect on May 25, 2018, and one of the most stringent privacy and security laws globally. So as far as you are dealing with privacy, taking data of people, you are releasing, GDPR covers everything. You work with it. All right. So we have Data Protection Acts, and many also, you can see laws, cyber laws in different countries. So different countries to now have their own cyber laws. And if you don't work by these laws, like I said, it's easy to go from being a free man to a prisoner in few days, in few seconds. So this is a very delicate line. All right. Do we have any question before we move on to the next module? You can raise your hands and we deal with that before we go to the next module. So now let's talk about ethical hacking fundamentals. We spoke about previously, we spoke about information security fundamentals. So now we have now streamlined it. Like I said, every line or whatever you want to focus on, or they are all inside information security. So now we are now streamlining it to what we are here for, the reason why we are gathered, which is what ethical hacking. So, okay, good news for everybody. We'll be taking a 15 minutes break and we'll be back in 15 minutes time. Okay, so our break is over. Now we need to hope you're all seated. You didn't go far from your laptop. Okay, so let's move on. And I hope you took time to digest all you've learned, and hope you are taking notes, hope you jot down, even though you have I don't know, I think you have the materials, you've been sent the materials, but sometimes when you write things down, it helps in assimilating well and retaining it for a longer time. So I hope you took notes, you wrote some things down. All right, so let's continue. Okay, great. Thank you, Christopher. Okay. All right. So I'm sharing my screen already. Hope you can see everybody. Hope you can see everybody. Please let me see a reaction. Going back to this. All right. So now we are talking about why we are here, ethical hacking fundamentals. Let's talk about everything in ethical hacking, what you need to know, what has been in existence, what has been going on, get the gist. Let's get the gist about ethical hacking, what has been going on there. So let's talk about cyber kitchen methodology. The cyber kitchen methodology is a component of intelligence-driven defense for the identification and prevention of malicious intrusion activity. So this is just like a laid down with detailed movement way that attacks take place from steps to step, detailed one, after monitoring and watching, observing attacks takes place. How did it happen? What happened? How did it just go? It's not like somebody just sat down somewhere and in a few seconds just the attack just gets to me and that's it and everything is down. No, things happened, for different motives of it, different things, different type of things we want to do. There are procedures to these things. There are procedures. Like I said before, anyone in this line is not a scattered person. You are keen on details, you take note of everything. You don't just take steps, don't just press enter and that's it. Before you press that enter, you check, you verify, well, can I press the enter? Will it not spoil things from me? So that is just like what it's why we have something we call cyber kitchen to give you to help you identify and also prevent the activities of malicious people. Now, one of the steps in now, it helps security professionals to understand the adversaries' tactics, techniques, and procedures beforehand. The short word for that, and you have to get used to it because you'll be hearing it more frequently, is what we call TTPs. So TTPs, tactics, techniques, and procedures, and we'll still be explaining that. But you are getting a deeper overview of attack activities, of malicious intrusion activities. And the first step in it is what we call reconnaissance. The reconnaissance. At this step, is a step where we gather information, you gather data on your target. You gather things. You must, if you want to attack me, at least you must know me, you must know what will pay me, you must know how to do it. It can't be that you don't know me, you've never met me before, you've never even heard of my name or even see this Facebook, and you just start somewhere and you say, let me attack this person without even, like, you don't even know that existed. So it is somebody you know that existed, or something you know that is available, or that existed, that worth it, that has something valuable for you, that you can now say, okay, this is how I can maybe take my revenge on you, or for money purposes that I want to request for ransom. So the reconnaissance phase is where you gather data, where you gather information, where you gather things about your targets. So what are they doing? Who is in charge of this? Who can I use? Who can I go through? What can I do? How do I access it? How do I go in? You just want to know about everything that your target is involved in, or that is useful, for that thing you want to do. Now, the second step is now what we call weaponization, the weaponization stage. At least after gathering all your information and all of that, and I told you in the attack equations that there must be a motive, there must be a method, and also what, a vulnerability. So after gathering that your information and all of it, you will definitely put those information you gather to use. You will definitely make use of them. They are not, you didn't just go through the stress of knowing about a person just for knowing purposes, or knowing about your target organization, the infrastructure and all of that, just because you just want to know. So you want to at least do what you want, your motive, the reason why you carried out that reconnaissance step, that reconnaissance process, you want to do that. And that is why you now get to the level of weaponization. The attacker gets to the level of weaponization. So at this level, they create a deliverable malicious payload using an exploit. So you create your malicious payload, you create that your method that you want to use, that your malicious, what can I use to do this? What is that weapon? You get now, if I do if I gather information about a building and I found out that okay, they use a bulletproof door, you get, that means I can think of the type of weapon to, and I want to access that building, right? I want to create my weapon that can break down a bulletproof door. That's I will not use gun. I'll use other things. Maybe I should blow the whole building, get bomb and bomb everything down. Yeah, so that is what we do, what we call the weaponization stage. And then the third step is now what we call the delivery step. That's the delivery stage. If I go out now and get the bomb, okay, is a bomb I'll be using to bring down the door. And then I have to make sure that the bomb gets to the vicinity where I want to do my carry out my attack or do that thing. So that is the delivery. You must learn. You can't just create. At least you would have seen even the movies that they just show you attack. They'll show you hackers working on the terminal, creating things and all of that. So if you not create it on your system, you're on your own end, you created your payload, you won't keep it there. You have to get a way to deliver it to whoever your target is. So that's the delivery stage, how you send it. So let's say the weapon you created is maybe a phishing payload, a phishing link to, now the delivery, how you deliver will not be either through a mail. You send an email to deliver it to that person, to deliver it to your target. So that is the delivery. Now, all these things, from the explanation of cyber kitchen that I told you, you are not just learning these things for learning purposes, so that you can identify, know how attacks, know how malicious activities take place, how they go. And if you know how these things go, you know how to put security in place. So if I'm not able to maybe defend myself at the level of reconnaissance, weaponization, I think I'll be able to maybe put a countermeasure at the delivery level. Because I already know the next thing you want to do is to deliver whatever your weapon is. So after delivering, the first step is now the exploitation. The exploitation. So exploit a vulnerability by executing codes on the victim's system. Now remember the attack equations I explained before, from the motive to your methods to your vulnerability. So there must be a vulnerability that's your weapon is able to exploit. Then the fifth level is now what we call the installation. So now this installation is just because you add access does not mean you might be able to remain there, or does not mean the access you got will give you the privilege to do everything you want to do. You might not be able, you might get there and then you see that you still have some restrictions. There are some things you want to do, part of your motives that you can't do. So an attacker go on to, install extra malwares on your target system to gain those power, to gain those and be able to do whatever you want to do, be able to stay for longer, be able to achieve your goal. And then the sixth step is now what we call the command and control. So here the attacker is now at the command and control level. You now have passages that you use to communicate, to send your things and come back, do your things properly, just like when I was explaining the APT, the advanced persistent threat. So you now have ways that you are now in the command and control. You've become a landlord. So create a command and control channel to communicate and pass data back and forth. And the last step in the cyber kitchen is what we call action on objective. Yes, you carry out you carry out an action on that objective. The reason why you did those things, all these steps you went through, you must achieve it. So whatever your action is, or whatever your objective is, you definitely take an action on them. Is it that you want to steal things? Is it that you want to render them useless? So whatever your objective is, you have to carry it out. Is it that you just want to turn on the person's camera and be listening or looking at what they are doing? Is it that you want to see what they are typing, etc., etc.? So those are the steps in the cyber kitchen methodology. Okay. So I made mention of the TTPs before, the tactics, techniques, and procedures. The terms TTP, tactics, techniques, and procedures, refers to the pattern of activities and methods associated with specific threat actors or group of threat actors. Now, let me put it like this. When we talk about tactics, yeah, they say tactics are the guidelines that describes the way an attacker performs the attack from beginning to the end. Now, okay, I lost it again. All right, I'm back on. I hope you can see my screen back again. Hello. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you. So, like I was saying before, when you think of tactics, don't think of the words of that attack. And like, okay, what is it for? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to get? And then techniques, when you think of techniques are the technical method used by an attacker to achieve intermediate results during the attack. So that's like the how. How do I now want to do what I want? How? So the techniques is like the how do I do it? How do I achieve this? So let's say your tactics is you want to maybe gain initial access. So your how would be like, okay, how do I do it? For instance, your how could be, okay, going through the pattern of phishing. The procedures is now like the way you carried it out. So procedures as a conditional approach that threat actors follow to launch attack. So if I now decide that, okay, my what is initial attack, my how is, maybe using the phishing, my procedures might be, okay, I want to now start using some tools like Zfisher and all of that. Those are tools that you use in creating your phishing payload, your phishing link, etc. So steps, especially if they are like an organization, a group of hackers, the steps they follow, what everybody did and all of that, that is what you find in the TTPs. That is what we're talking about when we talk about the TTPs. But you can see the cyber kitchens explain very well the steps of these malicious activities. It explains properly. All right. So, because let's not waste too much time. Now let's talk about what is hacking. Now, what is hacking? Before we get to now knowing what ethical hacking is, let's know what is hacking. And so you can now differentiate, you can now know what you are supposed to do as an ethical hacker, what you are needed to do. So what is hacking first? Now, hacking refers to exploiting system vulnerabilities and compromising security controls to gain unauthorized or inappropriate access to a system's resources. So you're exploiting vulnerabilities. That's one thing, hackers are always looking for, the vulnerabilities. Is the weakness they're looking for, is the weakness, because it helps in achieving their goal faster. So when you are hacking, it means you are exploiting the vulnerabilities of a system, or you are compromising it. So just like I've been told too, when we talk about hacking, it's not like you are doing something new or you are inventing, you might invent, maybe you are the one who look for a way to carry that, but it's not like that vulnerability you want to exploit or that activity you want to do is something that you created by yourself. Okay, in when you are hacking, you are only compromising the normal things, the normal way of life, the normal things that have been put in place, that were created for some purposes. You only just want to compromise them, exploit them. That is just what you are doing. For instance, if we say, oh, an attacker was able to connect to my devices remotely and did some different things, check my files, turn on my camera to see what I'm typing. Now, it's not like maybe that attacker created something out of the blue or something. Now, having remote access is a is a function that was like originally created for such purpose. They know that people sometimes you traveled and then you have your system at home and you want to be able to access it. You as a rightful owner, you want to access it, you want to be able to make use of some tools. So you can see, so when an attacker now also do remote access, it's not like you are doing something out of, you are only compromising the normal procedures, normal things that have been created for specific use. So the only thing that makes it so is the fact that you did it as an unauthorized person. So if I am somewhere else and then I connected remotely, did remote desktop to my my desktop at home, my laptop and my computer at home, I did that because I have my credentials, I have everything, I am the owner. I want to be able to reach my thing. But if an attacker does it, you are not the owner, but you still do the remote desktop, which is something that I can do normally as a normal procedure that been created for my own use, for functionality for me. So hacking involves modifying system or application features to achieve a goal outside of the creator's original purpose. So the creator's original purpose is for I as the owner to be able to access my thing, even when I'm far. Don't worry, like the boundary is not a limitation. You can see. So you just change it and use it outside of the purpose and start gain access to it, also exploit that function, that features that have been created for me. So hacking can be used to steal and redistribute intellectual property, leading to business loss. Yes. So it can lead to business losses, financially, reputation, etc. So it can lead to different losses. Okay, so who is a hacker? Who is a hacker? Now, a hacker is an intelligent individual with excellent computer skills who can create and explore computer software and hardware. So a hacker is an excellent, an intelligent individual. It's not just the one you use in school to pass and get first class. Like it takes more than I can read and I can use it to pass exam. So there's something there's this book I was recommended to read to before, The Hacker's Mindset. So there's a mindset, there's a type of thinking, that consistency, that curiosity, that perseverance in an hacker. So they have the skills, the essential skills about computers, about protocols, etc. So that it is because of this knowledge, these skills, that they know how to compromise them. Now imagine you said you created the software. Of course, you will know the loopholes in your software that you created. You will know how to make use of it, how to use it to its full capacity. So some hackers' intention can either be to gain knowledge or to probe and do illegal things. So it can either be to gain knowledge or to probe and do illegal things. Now, when we talk about gaining knowledge, now, if you proceed just as you've been told that before, to taking, or you want to proceed in this after the essentials, you want to proceed more to maybe focusing on the ethical hacking training, CH training, and you would get access to doing some things, running some exploitation for knowledge basis, for you to get to know this. So for knowledge, it's not because we want you to just start hacking and all of that. So for knowledge basis. And then there are also those that do it for illegal things. But while we are hearing as ethical hacker, what we do it is not in the legal way. So for some hackers, hacking is a hobby to see how many computers or network they can compromise. And for some, it's for malicious purpose. But that malicious purpose is like the highest of it. plenty part of it. So all right, so let's talk about classes of hackers. Class of hackers. We've been talking about those that are doing maliciously, you that are there to defend, those that can build, they can create softwares and hardware by themselves and all of that. And there are some that they cannot create these hardware by themselves. So that they are already categorized in, classes for you to be able to identify them and put a label to everything. So hackers classes or threat actors. Number one, we have the black hats, the black hat hackers, which are terms that almost everybody usually heard of for black hat hackers and all. You even if you don't know fully what it means, but that is something you come across frequently. So these are individuals with extraordinary computing skills. They resort to malicious or destructive activities and are also known as crackers. So these ones, there's nothing ethical or legal in their body. They want to, carry out that malicious activity, do it and achieve their own goal. So those are black attacker. But the thing is, they are very intelligent. They, they have many skills. They understand different computer languages and all. So they are highly intelligent. It's not just somebody that just maybe just broken in 1 month time and you think you have all the skills you want. So we also have the white hats, the white hat hackers. These are individuals who use their professed hacking skills. They also have these extraordinary computing skills, but they use it for defense purposes and are also known as security analysts. So they use their own for defense purposes, like you being an ethical hacker, a pen tester, So those are white hats. They use it for defensive purposes. You do it because you want to let an organization understand their posture, know where they are still lacking, know where the loopholes are. So it's to help improve their security postures. Then we have the gray hats. The gray hat hackers, these are individuals who work both offensive and defensive way at various times. One thing about this gray attacker is that sometimes, and most of the time, they do not even carry out. Now, I won't say not malicious, but sometimes they don't even steal anything. But the thing is, what makes them bad is the fact that you exploited that vulnerability, you gain access to my assets without permission. They do not care. They cannot do it finish and then come and maybe send the message to you or let you know that I was able to, I saw so I did this on your assets, on your property, and these are the vulnerabilities I see. They can even let you know that they didn't steal anything. One thing that just makes them do that is the fact that you didn't follow. Now, one thing in networking is that there must be permission for everything you are doing. With gray attackers, there is no permission. Even when they do good things, they didn't get permission from it. So it's not good. So they didn't get, they were not authorized to do that. There was no discussion. They didn't get permission to carry out that thing, that activity they did. So, and then we have those we call the suicide hackers. The suicide hackers. So these are individuals who aim to bring down the critical infrastructure for a cause and are not worried. They are not worried about facing jail terms or any other kind of punishment. These ones, the activity is personal. Like it's personal. So they must achieve that thing. They are not scared about whether they will arrest me later or I'll face one consequence. They just want to carry out that thing. As they have one, either for vengeance purposes And we have suicide hackers who are not scared of this, but they would carry out that their malicious activity, bring down critical infrastructure, destroy things without fear. In fact, some of them, they are even used to prison already. So you can't use prison to scare them and say you go to jail. They are used to it. They already have room and parlor there. So then we have the script kiddies. Script kiddies are unskilled hackers who compromise the system by running scripts, tools, and software that were developed by real hackers. So they rely on what this to have been able to, to develop. Now you can see when we're talking about black hackers, we told you that they have extraordinary computing skills. So, and then we also have some developers also develop tools that are useful for, that can do some malicious things. So script kiddies are not, they rely on these things, they rely on these tools, they rely on this script. They're ready on go on and say, give me, maybe tell me a tool or give me commands to do this. So you're relying on what is already out there for you. And sometimes what ChatGPT is even giving you. So these are script kiddies. It's easy to to catch them or not even achieve whatever they want to achieve because of the limited skill they have. Now we have cyber terrorists, individuals with a wide range of skills who are motivated by religious or political beliefs to create the fear through the large-scale disruption of computer network. So they are motivated by either because I'm supporting this party, you get, or it is this religion that is the best and all that. So you just want to create fear and make sure that if you join the other religion, this is what you face and all of that. So they are cyber terrorists. They are terrorized people, either for political purposes or religious purposes. We have state-sponsored hackers. So these are hackers that when countries are doing their yearly budget, they are budgeting them too. They are putting their face to in the budget. So they are state-sponsored. They are backed by governments of a nation. Okay, they are backed by governments of a nation. For instance, your Lazarus. I don't know, have you heard of the Lazarus before? Yeah, have you heard of the Lazarus before? Just maybe in the comment section or use a React or something. Okay, so this is an example of a state-sponsored hackers. So they are backed by government. The Lazarus now, they are backed by North Korean government. Okay, so those are government that individuals employed by the government to penetrate and gain top secret information from and damage the information system of other governments. So almost every, even Israel, all of them, they have their state-sponsored hackers that they are using to US. They all have their state-sponsored hackers that they are employed by government, they are backed by government. So this group of hackers, they do not lack finances, they do not lack whatever tool they need to carry out the operation, they are able to afford it, they are able to get it because they are backed up by a whole nation. And for you to be in this group as a state-sponsored hacker, be in that group, then you must be a very skilled person. You can't be a script kiddies and think of being in a state-sponsored a group. Our government cannot be wasting money on you. So we have activists. So individuals who promote a political agenda by hacking, especially by using hacking to deface or disable websites. Just from the word self activists, it's just like the way we have our human activists, etc. All those activists that we have, you can see that it's because they are fighting for something or they are promoting something. When we say human activists, so they are promoting, human rights. This person should not do this. Husband should not be serving. Those things. So that is just like when it comes to thinking about an activist, you know that is what they are also like. They are fighting for something. They are trying to promote something. Okay, they are trying to back up something, but in the hacking way, we have hackers team, a consortium of skilled hackers. We have industrial spies. These are individuals who perform corporate espionage by illegal spying on competitor organization and focus on stealing information such as blueprints, formulas. So these ones happen mostly to organizations. Their competitors want to, know what they are doing, what's their next thing, what's the task they are carrying out, etc. So these are industrial spies. So we have insiders, an employee, a trusted person. Of course, for you to be an insider, that is, you are a trusted person and employee. And sometimes, hackers, because of their plan, some of them go to the essence of getting employed in an organization just to carry out their plan, their purpose, just to carry out what they know, what they need to know, or have access to what they need to have access to. So, but an insider is, a trusted person. For instance, an employee who now decide to do those things. So we have criminal syndicates and organized hackers. So let's talk about let's understand different phases of hacking circles. Different phases of hacking circles. And it's in my explanation of the cyber kitchen, you can see we have different phases. We have different phases of things. The things just don't happen like, the way they will show you in movie. You are not me, they carry laptop people, and just like that, the person has act. In real life, it's not that fast. It's not like that. You can't just, if you don't know my vulnerability, how do you want to get there? You don't even know what I use or what I'm not using. So it doesn't happen like the way they show you in movies. So we have the hacking phases, and the number one step in this phase is what we call reconnaissance. Just like I explained in Cyber Kitchen, the reconnaissance, footprinting, gathering information, gather as many as you can know about this person. You must know. You must know before you can make use of. You must know how that thing works. Again, so gather as many as possible. That is what you do in the reconnaissance phase. You gain information, whether useful or not useful, staff information, or their email address, or their partner, who they are partnering with, partner organization. That's what I mean. Who they are, who is the manager, who is the secretary, who is the receptionist, who is, you gather as many information. What type of system do they use? Those are things how do they work? How do they operate? When do they open? When do they close? Reconnaissance just focus on, like, you are just just like when fishermen are fishing, you just drop your net and everything that comes from the sea you gather. You might not be there before you start sorting out what is useful and what is not useful, which one is the real fish you want or which one is the shrimp. So that is what you do in reconnaissance. And one thing about reconnaissance is that in acting activities, the reconnaissance phase takes more, like it takes more time. It takes more, is like 80% of your activity, because the more valuable the information you're able to gather during your reconnaissance phases, the more easy your other steps in your hacking will be for you. The more easy it will be. So don't think that because reconnaissance is the first step is not so important. If you do not take note of it and gather those right information that you need properly, everything you can ever need in those steps, to go proceed to the other phases will be difficult. You have to still go back to it. So reconnaissance, which is the first step, is very, very important. Then the second step is what we call the scanning. So at the level of scanning, then you are now, like, when we talk about reconnaissance, you could do, we have a type of reconnaissance that is like passive reconnaissance. We have passive reconnaissance, we have active reconnaissance. So at reconnaissance, you could still be passive, you could still be getting information about people on your targets, on not relating with them directly, on OSINT sites and all of that, going to social media pages, stalking. So it could be, but when you get to scanning, you are now relating with your target. You are now more active, you are now more close, doing things on their network. for you to scan, for scanning. So you are now more like doing a active reconnaissance, a active footprinting by the time you are scanning. And in scanning, what are the things you gain? What are the things hackers plan to gain when they are scanning? Number one thing is you want to know if your target is actually active. You want to know if your target is is live. The word we use is live. So we call them live hosts. So you want to know if it is actually active, it is accessible and all of that. So you want to know if your target is live, if those systems you want to gain access to are running. Because if something is shut down, and it's not like maybe you're in close proximity, I've shut down my phone, I've shut down my system, not connected to anything, I'm not browsing. You can't do anything to it now. You can't say you want to run any attack or whatever it is. Even if you bring a except you come, maybe you come physically and try to smash my laptop. But when we are talking about not those physical attack of you smashing, so you need to know that yes, my target is live. So probably you want to recognize the live host. Now, the second thing you get in your scanning are ports and services. Ports and services. Everything you do on your devices, they all have like roads that they pass through, how they got there, how they get to you. If I'm sending something to you, I want to send something from my phone to my laptop. Just because I press send here and it got here does not mean like is abracadabra or something. There are means, there are passage, there are roads that it uses. Even if it takes, it's just within seconds. As soon as I press send here, in a few seconds it got here. Even if it's just seconds, there is a way it's passed through. There is something there's how it got there. So that is what we call ports. So ports are like roads. They are like, if you are going, you want to go from Lagos to Ibadan, there is a road you will pass. Again, there is a road there's how you get there, there's a road pass. So that is what we call ports. So you will know, and it is through this port, it is through this road that you can actually gain access to your targets. So it is through this route there should be a way you got to me. So that is possible. So you want to know, you want to see the port, you want to see the road, all the roads that are open. Like I want to go to Yaba. How many ways can I use to get there? Oh, I can come from Shemolu, I can come from Bariga, I can from, those different ways to get into Yaba. So those are like different ports that you want to get. So how many roads are open? How many ports are available for me? You get, so, and the thing is your ports can be in like they can be in there are basic three states that a port can be. Your port could be opened. That means what it is used for at that moment. It is communicating. It is actually running. That is why you will see that, oh, this port is opened. And then your port can also be closed. When it is closed, it's not communicating, it's not running, it's not available for you to use. So it's just like when they'll tell you they are doing a road somewhere and it has been closed, that road has been closed. So take alternative routes. You get, so that is just like, so when it is closed, it is closed. It's not running, it's not useful for you to use that. It's not communicating. You can't use that way to get to me or to get to your destination. And the third state that the port can be is the filtered state. A port can be filtered. So when we talk about a port being filtered, it's just like this portal, it is opened, it is on, it is live, but there are security in place, there are defenses. You get, there are security in place. That is why it is filtered. So there are security in place, there are defenses behind it. So it's not just an open way. So it's like you are going to the island. There are toll gates for you where you stand and police will check you. You move forward, you meet another police checking you and all of that. So there are security in place. You also, in your scanning, you also want to know the type of operating system you are working with. You get, because you just because for you to even get your weapon, you should know what type of operating system you are working with. Now, if you created a weapon that can only work for a Windows device, what if it is a Linux? Or you got one that is for, so you want to know the type of operating system you are working with. Or is it a Cisco device and all of that? So those are the things you find out in your scanning. And the third step, let's move on. The third step is now the step where you gain access. And this from all this information you've gathered in your reconnaissance, in your scanning and all of that. Now, in as much as when you take the CH class, there are more details and more things that you will learn in these steps. You get to that are embedded after scanning. But now from all those ways, more details and all that you use to get your information, now you now want to make use of those information you gathered. You want to gain access to that thing, to your target device. You want to do what carry out your motive. So you want to gain access. So that is where we get to the third step, which is called gaining access. So it is at this level of gaining access, for instance, if you want to do remote access, you need to crack my password, have my credentials. So it's that level of gaining access that you do things like password cracking. And password cracking to be able to have access. So you are now entering that your target, now having access to it and being available to you. And the first step is what we call maintaining access. So just because you're able to gain access into my system does not mean you can stay there till you feel like you'll be able to remain there till you are able to achieve all your motives. You will just see that something you thought you gain access to in a few seconds time, you just see session timeout. And once session is timeout, you now have to start looking for how to create a session for yourself again, how to gain access again. So because you don't want your session to time out, you don't want to be kicked out in few seconds of gaining access to that infrastructure, to that device. You want to look for ways to make sure you maintain your access. You're able to stay there till you finish your objective. You are able to stay there till you finish your objective. And sometimes you even have to escalate your privilege to do all this. So, and the last step is what we call clearing tracks. Yes, hackers want to remain stealth. They don't want you to know that they did something. I don't want you to know that I gain access to your system. I don't want you to know that I am hiding somewhere, that there's a way I can use to come back. So what do you do at that moment? You clear your tracks, you clear your activities. So there are tools, there are commands for doing that, that hackers use to do that, to make sure they clear the activities, to remain invisible, to remain unseen. And they won't be able to, so that they won't be able to trace back everything they did or how they compromised your system. So that is what we call clearing tracks. All right. I hope you are still with me. Give a reaction, please. Okay. Only Joshua
Yes, so we
giving
are
me. Okay.
okay.
All right. Thank you. Okay. All right. So now let's talk about the ethical hacking concepts, scopes, and limitation. So what is now ethical hacking? I've explained everything about hacking, the classes of hackers, etc. So now let's talk about the ethical ones. The reason why we are here, the reason why Sardonyx put out this ethical hacking essentials out there is because they are inviting in ethical personnel, those that will use their skills to defend. So what is ethical hacking now? Ethical hacking involves the use of hacking tools, tricks, and techniques to identify vulnerability and ensure system security. So you see those skills you have, you also have the same skills that a malicious hacker have. But the thing is, you want to use it to help organization. You want to use it to identify vulnerabilities. So you want to be able to think in the be able to view things in the viewpoint of an attacker. So if all I know is that this door, my door should be clocked this way, just use padlock to close it. That is all I know. I know that if I want to secure this room, I don't want anyone to be able to access it. Oh, put a key there, lock it. That is how I can, defend or keep my things safe. But a malicious person will know that, having the hacker's brain, we know that just because you put padlock there does not mean I cannot pick that padlock and open the door now. So as an ethical hacker, it means what you also want to do is that you are able to think from the viewpoint of a malicious hacker. So you can also see from outside and say, oh, if I am truly maybe a malicious hacker, this is something I can do. You put in, this security posture like this of putting a padlock at the door. But as an ethical hacker, I can pick it and open the door now. So you want to help organization you want to identify the vulnerabilities, or okay, is that door, that key you use is not strong enough. There are more secure keys. There are more, there's more secure ways you can lock your doors. So that is what you want to help them to. That is what you are here for. So you use your own skill, you use your own knowledge to help organization, to help individual to recognize the vulnerability, and then they can provide more securities for it. So ethical hacking focuses on simulating the techniques used by attackers to verify the existence of exploitable vulnerability in a system security. Now, ethical hackers perform security assessment for an organization with the permission of concerned authority. That is just it. Like I've said now that, okay, a malicious hacker can think of, let me pick this key and open it and all of that. And you call yourself an hacker, you can do that. But what makes you different? What makes you ethical? What is that ethical? It's because of the permission you get. Like when I was explaining the gray arts, I said most times they might not even do anything malicious, but for the activity that they carry out, they didn't get permission for it. It was not discussed. They didn't sign anything. They were not, called to do that. So, but what makes you ethical? What makes you be on the legal line is because of the permission you got. When it comes to this, you will sign a lot of things just to ensure that yes, truly you called me to come and do this, so I didn't do it on my own. So you do an NDA, you sign SLA, you get different things to make sure that yes, you actually called me to do it. I am getting permission. That is what makes you ethical. That is, and if you think of thieves now, or a thief carried a gun, and a policeman is carrying a gun. They are both carrying a gun. But what makes it right for the policeman to carry a gun and makes it wrong for the thief to carry a gun is because for the thief, the policeman has the permission to carry the gun. It's been authorized by government to carry the gun. But the thief did not. They just buy gun from in malicious ways and use it for the activity. They don't even want it to be traceable to them that they're using that gun. So that is the difference. That is what makes you an ethical hacker different from a malicious one. The permission, the fact that you work with permission. It is to which step you tell me to get to, that is where I will get to. So why is ethical hacking necessary? Number one, to prevent hackers. To prevent hackers. Organization recruit ethical hackers to prevent hackers from gaining access to the organization information security. So we want you to also go ahead and tell us what we are lacking. Where are we lacking? What do we need to fix? To uncover vulnerabilities in systems and explore their potential as a security risk. To analyze and strengthen an organization's security posture. That is your purpose, to help strengthen their security posture. It's not because they don't want you to come and show skill that yes, I can destroy things, I can hack, I can get. No, it's because they want it to help them strengthen their security posture. Tell them where their vulnerabilities are. See things with the with the view of a malicious person, of an outsider, of an attacker. So to avoid security breaches, because security breaches are expensive to organizations, they are costly, costly mistakes. So to help safeguard customer data, to enhance security awareness at all levels in a business. Now, I kept on saying customer data, safeguard customer data, you'll be like, Nigeria might make it look like enhancing safeguarding customer data is not important. Like it is now more, at least there are now laws that stands with that. At least there was a time I saw on Twitter where a lady said the form she filled for her password. I said password for her passports, actually. For her passports. She bought akara, and the paper they used to sell akara for her was the form she filled all her passport details on, her picture, everything was on it. And although she came online to say, immigration office, passport office, why is my paper, my form being used to sell akara? And normal Nigeria now, we just catch cruise, everybody laugh, everybody spoke. That was just where it ended. But imagine it was abroad, like for instance, US, that something like that happened. Government to pay, government to pay for it's not, they won't even, they keep their citizens' information more secure than that. And for it to just be government to pay for that. A person will even sue government. Because why am I seeing my details, my data outside, something I submitted to you, filled, and then you process? They should have things like shredding machines to shred papers, that they've worked on. So to enhance security awareness at all levels in a business. So those are the reasons why ethical hacking is necessary. So what can an intruder see on the target system? From in an intruder viewpoint, what can you see in the target system? What can an intruder do? Even after, what are the things they are able to do? What are the things that can attempt? What are the components and information? Are all components and information system adequately protected, updated, and patched? Patching is very, very important. So how much time, money, and effort are required to obtain adequate protection? Are these information security measures in compliance with legal and industry standards? Because if they are not in compliance with legal and industry standards, that's another issue. That's another issue. So those are the reasons why ethical hacking is needed. Now, the scope and limitation of ethical hacking. So ethical hacking is a crucial component of risk assessment, auditing, counter fraud, and information system security best practice. So it is used to identify your risk and highlight remedial actions. What are the remedies you can prefer to this risk? What are the solutions at least that we can try to put in place to make it low or tolerable? So it also reduces ICT costs by resolving vulnerabilities. That is the scope of ethical hacking. Now, what are now the limitations? What are the limitations? Yes, ethical hacking has their own limitation. So unless the business already knows what they are looking for and why they are hiring an outside vendor to access them in the first place, chances are there would not be much to gain from the experience. Now, like when I was talking about ethical hackers getting permission for whatever they can do. So it means after we've signed, we've listed everything, what I'm supposed to do. If an organization think that all they need you to do is maybe help them check their tolerance to, let's say, a breach, just and anybody being able to access the system, having access, remote access. And you did that, you sort that out, and that, okay, this is your posture, this is now secure. They do that. A month later, they now got attacked by maybe denial of service. That is not your problem, because that was not what they hired you for. So except that a business already know what they need, what is more important for them, they might not gain what they actually need. And so whenever they call you for that, you will do. So an ethical hacker can only help the organization to better understand the security system. It is up to the organization to place the right safeguards on the network. So if I have seen it and say, oh, these are your risky, these are your vulnerabilities, okay, maybe even provide some advice of do this, and you didn't do it, it is not, it is not the issue of the hacker. So they can only help. It is now up to the organization to place the right safeguards on the network. And that's why we have the defense side, which I usually call the blue team, to do that. Okay. So skills of an ethical hacker, apart from all these technical skills that we're talking about, you also need a non-technical skill. You need it. I know most of us did not know about this having non-technical skill before you came into this. You all think that all you need is know how computer skills, know what protocol is working for this, what joins this and what, and that is all. But as an ethical hacker, you also need the non-technical skills. So that is the ability to learn and adopt new technologies quickly, because things are evolving, things are coming up, new things are showing up. So you're able to learn quickly. Your adaptability should be fast. So strong work ethics and good problem solving and communication skills. See these communication skills. May God help us. So because it is something that most hackers, do not even look at before. You think all I just need is just to face my machines and be talking to machines, but you get that, you see that yes, you need the communication skills, and those are the non-technical skills that are important for an ethical hacker, because you must be able to explain what you did, you must be able to explain what you want to do, and explain what you did properly in a way that a non-technical person can understand. So committed to the organization's security policies and an awareness of local standards and laws. Awareness, yes, you must know the standards and laws so that you won't be the weak point that got the organization into trouble. So you must make sure that your activities or the security infrastructure of that organization are in compliance with law standards and the standards and laws. Okay. So for the footprinting and scanning that I spoke about, there are tools that we use for all this. There are ways of doing which I will show you some. Let me stop sharing this and show you some ways of footprinting, that's gathering information, and some ways of scanning. So, all right. Now, as you know, we'll definitely give you time to digest what you've learned. So I will go on break again. We'll go on a 15 minutes break. So that means we'll be back by 1:10, 10 minutes past 1. Then I'll show you some ways of how hackers do their footprinting, their reconnaissance, and their scanning. So let's go on break now. Thank you. All right, so our break is over. And let's continue. So I wanted to show you some of the techniques in footprinting and reconnaissance that hackers do when trying to gather information. And I would be using one that is easily accessible, which is what we call Google hacking Google database. So it's not like maybe so the fact that Google is an open source, open space where everybody can just go and search for things, type of things and all of that. Now there are ways that you can make Google like centralize, focus your search on one thing without it gathering every jargons and all of that for you. And now you can make it actually bring out that real information that you're looking for. So that's what we call Google hacking. So these are pointers that we use. Now imagine I want to find out, like I just want Google to lead me to everything that relates to logging in, logging in on a website. You guys, if you just do, let's say you just do something like let me get a normal random searches. Let's say I just search for ethical hacking. Yeah. Now, when I search for ethical hacking, you can see how we brought out everything, different things. This one from EHE Council, this one from Cisco, this one from info security, as far I showed, so it will bring out a lot. Now, look at all the tabs it showed me that there are still results. I'm sure if I enter this last tab here, this 10, I'll still have more. Like, you get. Now, I have a target. I have who I'm looking for, or who I'm looking for, information like this on. So what are the commands you use? Pointers that help you in streamlining your search. So that is what I'm talking about here. So now there are pointers like this. There's one we call now if I do this, okay, let me do this. Now, if I enter this command, that in my title, like in the title of every search, every result you give me, let it be something related to login. Maybe I'm looking for login things related to this. I choose EHE Council because it's a cybersecurity body, so it is available for us to use for our learning. So I want you to, in all the title of the results you give to me, let it be things related to login. Because if I just go and do, let me say I'm just looking for, I just do EHE Council. Now, if I just do EHE Council, it will bring out different things, leading school online for cybers, EHE Council online courses, etc. But I have a focus, I have a target, I have what I'm looking for. So I want you to give me things that are related to the login of anywhere that login is being mentioned, or that leads to login pages and all of that on EHE Council. Now, which is why I use this command. So in title, login, the site I am working on is what ehecouncil.org. So all the results it will give to me, you will see they are logging in it. EHE Council login, EHE Council login. So they will be focused. Log into iLabs, EHE Council. They will have a path they are following, they are going through. So these are ways that hackers just maneuver the way while doing the research, the information gathering. For instance, I could do this. I could tell you that. So I could say that in the URL of your results that you give to me, I want these 2 words, or even more than 2, to be in the URL. So I want results that are focused on, EHE Council and also the career paths. So you can see my results of having EHE Council career. Choose the right cyber career. EHE Council career with cancer education. You can see the way I'm streamlining my results and my searches. So unlike how I just did this before, and I was getting lots of results. Now, results you get might also be a lot more out. There are a lot of searches online or information on Google database that related to that thing you are searching for. But it won't just be anything just coming and different things that you don't even know what to pick from, or you do not have it. Now, the fact that I'm putting, or I'm telling it, I want just information from EC Council or things related to Council, is not giving me any other thing the way I'm getting from different sites, Fiska, Celtic, and all of that. It is streamlining all my things to EC Council, EC Council, things that are related to it. So that is a method, a technique that we call Google hacking. So now I also made mention of scanning. So I made mention of scanning. Now there are different ways that you can scan. But one very number one tool for scanning is it's what we call Nmap. So Nmap has different commands for doing different things. Whatever you are looking for, you want to discover the host, you want to look for the ports that are opened on that ports that are open on that your target system, etc. Different things, your operating system. So now I will just be showing you how, for instance, I'll make this my other operating system, this my Windows, I'll make it my target. So I am the attacker now, and the person that offended me, Mr. Samuel, is using Windows 11. So he's the one that I want to do my information gathering on. So I want to know the ports that are opened, that I can use as access to get to him. So excuse me. Now I hope you can see me because it seems I lost connection in my local. Hello, if I'm still on. Okay. Okay. Thank you. All right. So now, for me to in my information gathering steps, I would have part of the things I would have researched on would be what is the name of that my target you get, and when it comes to what we call IP address. Okay, so what is the IP address of my target and all of that? So for me to be able to do my scanning, I must know the address of my target. So the address of this my target now is 10.10.1.11. That is the IP address of my target. So this Windows 11 is my Windows. So now I am using Nmap to scan it. Yeah. Mm, mm, mm. Okay. Mm. Okay. So these are nmap command. Now here we have different types of ways you can scan, different protocols or how you use protocols to scan things. So this command here that I am doing here is what we call doing a full open scan. So I am doing a full open scan. And when I say a full TCP open scan, there is a protocol called TCP, that's your tactics, techniques, and procedures. So I said tactics, transmission control protocol. Apologies for that. Transmission control protocol. So it is the protocol that is responsible for your, for your transmissions, for your connections and all of that. So I am doing a TCP full open scan here. Now, when we do, the TCP has some ways that it connects, and they are called the three-way handshake. So it does things like it has some flags that you use to connect, which we call the three-way handshake. So doing in the three-way handshake, you have the SYN flag, you have the SYN and ACK flag. You will receive that from your target, and then you send back your own ACK flag. So that is what we call the three-way handshake: SYN, ACK, and ACK. So that is the proper way. So now, with this command I did there, and I told you I'm doing a full open scan, that means I completed my three-way handshake for me to know. So for me to do this, it means I'm a legal person. You get? I'm an admin, that's why I could do this. Now, for being an hacker who does not want to be detected, now you can see the ports. These are ports and services, and these are the states. I told you ports can be opened, closed, and filtered. So on my target, these windows here, so these are the ports that are opened on it. These are the ports that are open on it. You can see all the ports: echo, discard, FTP, HTTP, and also. So these are the numbers, the port numbers. These are the port numbers. So these ports, despite the fact that they have their names, also have their numbers for recognition. Okay, so these are the ports that are opening. Now, being an hacker who wants to, I want to bypass some things. I don't want to be logged in. I don't want to complete my TCP so that it won't, include my tracks that I did this. So there's another way of doing this scanning, which we call the TCP half open scan, your SYN scan. Now, unlike the three-way handshake that I told you, you complete the steps of doing the SYN, ACK, and ACK. Now, when I'm doing a half open scan, I want to be set, like I want to not be noticed. I don't want to be known or seen that I did that thing. Okay, so that means I won't complete the three-way handshake. I won't do the SYN, ACK, and ACK. So I can do something like doing a SYN, receiving a SYN back, and then I do a reset. That is another flag in the TCP. So this is okay. This is a command for doing something like that. Now you can still see that I still got the same response, right? Like I still got the same, oh, these are the ports that opened, etc., etc. But the only difference in this command is that I am not like I am not. I don't want to be known. I don't want to be seen. I don't want them to know that I'm doing this. You get, so that I will not be stored in the record that, oh, you created this connection, or you did this activity at this moment. So this is just for me to remain state. That is why the commands are different. So I still want to achieve my purpose. There's something I'm looking for. I'm just using different means. I want to enter a room. I either go through the door, or I jump in through the window, or I come in through the ceiling. So don't get confused by the commands. So I'm just showing you different ways. So there are also the other different techniques. We have one we call the XMAS scan, and that one makes use of more flags in the TCPs. So part of the TCP flag, we have what we call the fin flag, which is full for finish. We have the PSH, which is full for push, and the URG flags, URG, full for urgent. So when I'm doing an XMAS scan, I am making use of all this to do my scanning, to still get the information on this. So like I said, I see is a door, I want to access a room. I can come in through the window, come in through the door, come in through the ceiling, different ways, but still getting the same, what's it called, the same result, or even sometimes better. So, all right, let's move on. So I hope you're still with me. Do you have any question? Okay. So Emmanuel, we can move on then, since everybody's okay. Oh, sorry, I have my camera turned off. Okay. So let's learn about the information security threats and vulnerability assessments. The information security threats and vulnerability assessment. So here we will learn about different threats, how they come to play, how they take place, what are the different types. Like I mentioned before, someone asked a question about, so are there more type of attack? Yes. So here we'll talk about some of them, more than the ones you got when I was explaining the different type of attack. And also we'll talk about vulnerability assessment. You need to know the vulnerabilities you have, know which ones prioritize, how to place them. So that is what you learn in the vulnerability assessments. All right. So what is a threat? What is a threat? We've been talking about threats. So the equation for threats is motive, goals, method, and all of that. So what is that threat? Let's put, like I said, we have to put a name to everything. We have to be able to understand everything. We are keen on details. Keen on details. We don't just do things anyhow. So what is threat? A threat is the potential occurrence of an undesirable event that can eventually damage and disrupt the operational and functional activity of an organization. Just take the keywords. The potential occurrence that this thing can happen. This thing is available, this thing can happen, this thing is safe. So that is what we call threat, the potential occurrence that something can happen, that an undesirable event can take place. So that is what a threat is. So attackers use threats. We need to run our time. Attackers use cyber threats to infiltrate and steal data, such as individuals, personal information, commercial information, and login credentials. And you are not new to this, getting to this level. So you are not new to what attackers use this for. So examples of threats are attackers stealing sensitive data, shutting down server, tricking employee into revealing sensitive information. That's social engineering, and you'll still be learning about that later. So an attacker infecting a system with malware, you'll be learning that. So also, we'll dive more into malware in this module. Attackers spoofing the identity of an authorized person to gain access. You are aware of spoofing. Modifying or tampering data, remotely altering the data in a database. Attackers performing URL redirection, URL forwarding, denial of service, privilege escalation for unauthorized access, eavesdropping on a communication channel without authorized access. So these are examples of threats, and they are not limited to that, mind you. So they are not limited to all these dimensions. People are smart, people are smart. So Mr. Tim usually say they are cycles. So yes, people are smart and they think far out of the box. So we have threat sources. threat sources, there are sources, ways that these threats, come to play, come into existence. And number one threat source is what we have the category natural, the natural threat sources. Yes. So, like I said, information security goes all around. It's not just on, what you do on your, what's it called, on just your internet. It goes all around. So it means you consider things like even the natural threats. And an example of all these natural threats is fire, flood, power failure. So if there's a fire outbreak in an organization, what can you do? You get, like, there's possibility of a fire outbreak taking place and stopping your business operation for that day. No staff will stay in the building that is burning, and say, I still want to attend to customers. No customer will even come in to say they want to patronize you when there's fire going on. So fire, these are example. Floods, when your environment is filled up with water and all of that, flood, customers cannot reach you. Even your staff cannot get to the building. Sometimes the flood is a lot that it consumes all your machines, your computers and laptops in the office get soaked up. In fire, they get burned. These are different ways that these are threats. These are threats. These are bad occurrences that can happen to an organization. So these are natural sources. So you can't just overlook them. So, and also another category, we have the unintentional category. So unskilled administrators, these are the unintentional ones. It's not that they want to do you bad. They just don't know. They just don't know. It's not like you put somebody in a room and say, oh, okay, this is a switch. You're supposed to work with this switch. And person does not even know, how do I turn on this switch? How do I turn it off? They are unskilled. It's not like they don't want to turn. And when there's an attack, use this switch. How do I turn on this switch? How do I use it? They are just unskilled. So these are unintentional. They just don't know how to make it available. They don't know how to use it to its full capacity. There are accidents. That's another example of unintentional threat source. Accidents. Lazy or untrained employees. Lazy or untrained employees. So you can still call them. And then we have the intentional category. The intentional category can be in two phases, the internal and the external. These ones, like, they intentional, they have a goal. They intentionally carried out the attack. They have a motive. There's something they want to get, or there's a reason they are to. It's not like it's by mistake, or it's just natural. It just happened. So number one in the internal category is what we call the fired employee. So an employee that feels like they fired me wrongly in that organization, despite all the years that I've worked for them, I did everything and they still fired me, and that employee has some secrets or something that I have access to, can still use to attack them. So fired employees sometimes for revenge purposes, pose as a threat source. Disgruntled employee, they are not paying me enough. They are using me too much, and then you go on and try to, and someone say, see, guy, just tell me, show me, I'll plug this thing in your server and I'll have access and we'll wire the money out. And they are not paying you enough, then you will share the money. So these are intentional, disgruntled employee, or I don't like the manager that I'm working with, another. So service providers, contractors. So these ones they have access one way or the other. They are insiders one way or the other, to carry out their intentions. We have external ones. External ones are hackers, of course, criminals, terrorists, foreign intelligence agents, corporate raiders, etc. These are external threat sources. These are external threat sources. Okay. Now let's now talk about malware. Malware is also a type of threat, like it's a big threat safe. So malware. Now malware stands for, just from its word, malware, it stands for what? Malicious software. That is the full of it, what it stands for, malicious software. That's malware. So malware is a malicious software that damages or disables computer systems or gives limited or full control of the system to the malware creator for the purpose of theft, or fraud. So that is the work of malware. You have heard of it. Oh, the malware, the organization is facing the malware attack, etc. So a malicious software that damages your system, that give access to outsiders that are not supposed to have access to it. You just notice that your devices are hanging, your phone is hanging, or your phone is hot all of a sudden, and you're not pressing anything, and it's just hot. And battery start draining easily. The battery there's nothing wrong with it. It's just running, and the battery is hot, and the battery is running down, and places that you did not even go to, icons that you didn't press themselves, open and start. You should already know that yes, you have a landlord on that your device. So malware programmers develop and use malware to attack browsers and track websites visited, slow down system and degrade system performance, cause hardware failure, rendering computer inoperable, and steal personal information, including contacts. So there are also many reasons why malwares are created for different purposes. So different ways for malware to enter a system: instant messaging application, portable hardware, media removable devices, browsers and email software bugs, and all. So you just get any flash, you put it, any external hard drive, you input it into your thing, you borrow people's code, and now they are even USB code, they look like USB code for charging, and they have malwares inside them, keyloggers and all of that. So these are ways that malwares enters your email, your browsers. You click on what you're not supposed to click on untrusted sites. Like the way I had to the person who asked the question before about person. So be careful of the sites you go to, be careful of the details you put there, what you try to reach. So downloading files from the internet, email attachments, installation of other malwares, Bluetooth and wireless network. Yes, the one that is more common when it comes to malware. All the other ones are also common, using removable devices and browsers. Bluetooth and wireless network are also very common with contracting malwares. So they are very, very you're on the network of an attacker. So it means he has rights, over you to do whatever they want to do. They're able to access you. And we'll still explain that more on how on some malwares that you can get. Now, what are the common techniques attackers use to distribute malware to the web on the web? Number one, we have black hat search engine optimization. Now, what do I mean? Why showing you the sorry. Now, why showing you when I tried doing the Google hacking, I showed you first how I just went ahead to search for EC Council, and you can see how many results came, and you can see the ones that are top, that are the top, that are the first and second, and the ones that are on the first page. Now, most people believe that because when I search, these are the first results that show, that means they are the legit one. Who told you they are the legit one? Attackers can make their own search rank high, and people, that will be the first one. And once people start clicking on it, Google will believe that the fact that people are going frequently to this site, that means what they are using it, or it's useful or something. Who told you just because it's the first result that showed for you when you search on your browser, that means it is the legal one, or it is the original one? So running malware pages high in search results, they run them and they'll be the one you see in the first page, and you think no, the original ones might not even be in the first page. The first page results you are seeing might be the black hat search engine. So social engineered clickjacking, so tricking users into clicking on innocent looking web pages. They look innocent, the icons even look the same, the what was it called? You did not take your time to analyze the URL you are clicking on. Maybe you want to go to, the interface look the same, but you're supposed to go to gtbank.com. You went to gtbank.org. etc. So spear phishing sites, mimicking legitimate institution in an attempt to steal login credentials. Malvertising, embedding malware in ad networks that display across hundreds of legitimate high traffic sites. Compromise legitimate websites, drive by download, spam email. So that advertising, you see that you are not, what you are even using does not relate to. You are on your, maybe your Bible app, and then they are bringing out the advertisement of Temu for you. You are in YouTube and Temu is following you. You are on Instagram, Temu is following you. You are, you went to your browser, Temu is there with you. So these are ways. As far as you waited for some seconds like this, they believe you're interested, and then start going with you. So now let's talk about types of malware. There are different types of malware. So like I said, malicious software. So those malicious software are now, there are a lot. People are intelligent. They're creating different ways to make use of these things. So number one type is what we call Trojan. You should have heard of it before, Trojan horse. Before I continue, let me get some reaction again to know that I haven't lost your attention from everybody. Okay, thank you. Yes, I'm only seeing one reaction. Okay, thank you so much. All right. Okay. I'm not getting reaction from other people. Bright, Oki, Fagbenle, Emmanuel, Mustafa Lawal. Hope you are not sleeping. Hope you are not sleeping. I'm calling your name. Okay. All right, so let's proceed. Thank you to everybody that reacted. Okay, so as I was mentioning the type of malware, Trojan, food for Trojan horse, virus, very popular. Virus, even if it's not virus that affects me, but the one that everybody knows is virus. I have virus on my, so virus. Ransomware is also quite popular. Computer worms. I'm sure some people will be, new to worms, like which one is worm? We have rootkits, we have PUA, we have spyware, we have keylogger, botnet, fileless malware. So these are types of malware. Now, what is a Trojan? So a Trojan is a program in which the malicious or harmful code is contained inside an apparent harmless program or data, which can later gain control and damage and cause damage. So a Trojan makes itself look like a legitimate program, like I am something you make use of, a normal program, a normal feature on your system that is supposed to be there, which you won't be able to even suspect it. Because that is a Trojan. That is what a Trojan makes itself look like. So Trojan gets activated when a user performs certain predefined actions. So you maybe you run it, you execute it, you try to open it. That is when it starts. It activates itself. So Trojan creates a covert communication channel between the victim computer and the attacker for transferring sensitive data. Just like the command and control that I mentioned before. So it now creates passage for you whereby the victim and the attacker now have a way of going to and fro and doing their things. Now, indication of Trojan attack, the computer screen blinks. Just to, I know, there's without any reason. In as much as there are some situations that maybe there are other reasons that something like that happened. Maybe you don't have enough space or something and you're trying to still send some things. But now that you know that there's actually nothing wrong with your system, and all of a sudden you just see papa, as in just blink and goes off, and okay, you get, so this calls for attention. The computer screen blinks, it flips, it goes upside down or is inverted so that everything is displayed backward. Things that are supposed to be now turned backward, and what type of setting did I do? that made this thing change. You didn't do any settings, or all of a sudden just did that. So those are indication of Trojan attack. So the default background or wallpaper settings change automatically. Maybe you put your picture, you use your picture as a wallpaper, and you just and automatically you just all of a sudden you just see that your wallpaper has changed to a random one that you didn't set it up by yourself. Abi, and you didn't set your password to update itself or do that by itself. So those are indication of Trojan attack. So once you start noticing these things on your devices, pay attention to them. Why did I leave this setting? My device is set to be this way, and then it changed by itself without you executing anything. You didn't do anything, you didn't change those settings. I just came and everything is looking different. So web page suddenly open without input from the user. The color settings of the operating system changes automatically. You are using maybe a dark theme before, or you are using a light theme. Light theme changes to dark theme without you changing it by yourself. You just notice that your antivirus program, maybe the one you installed by yourself, or Avast and all of that, or even you're just disabled, your Windows Defender firewall is off and you didn't turn it off. These are disabled without you doing them. So these are indicators of Trojan or Trojan attack. Pop up with bizarre messages suddenly, etc. So how hackers use Trojan? What do they use it for? They use it to delete. They use it to replace. They use it to disable firewall. They use it to create backdoors. Backdoors to gain remote access. They use it to record screenshots, your audio, your videos. Turn on your camera without you turning it on by yourself. Turn on your microphone whereby they can listen to what you're saying. Take screenshots, etc. Those are things they use Trojan for. Use victims' PC for spamming and blasting email messages, encrypt data and lock out the victims from accessing the machine, steal password information such as password, security codes, and credit card information, download spyware, hardware, and malicious files. So they use Trojan to now download more things, installation. So more other malwares, your spyware, hardware, and all of that. So that is what a Trojan is used for. Now we have types of Trojan. There are types of Trojan. We have what we call remote access Trojan, short form RATs. It is called RATs. So remote access Trojan. We have backdoor Trojan. We have botnet Trojan, rootkit Trojan, e-banking, point of sales, POS Trojan, defacement Trojan, service protocol Trojan, mobile Trojan, IoT. Name it, they've created malware for it. Security software disabled Trojan, destructive Trojan, denial of service Trojan, command shell, etc. So a RAT, from its word, remote access Trojan, provides attacker with full control over the victim system, thereby enabling them to remotely access files. And I'll still be showing you I'll be showing you a demo on it on how a RAT works. I'll do a RAT demo for you and you can see. So a backdoor is so that what you can bypass. Next time when you want to come in, you have your own way that you come. If police are at the front gate, you've created another door for yourself that you don't know, maybe a tunnel that will give you access into the building. So a botnet. Now a botnet is a malware that allows devices to do repetitive actions. There was this time that all this, I don't know, what should I call them? Is it crypto or something? All those what is it called? Tap swap. What's the name of those things that people were doing then? So as long as somebody showed me one of them that, and they're supposed to keep tapping to mine their whatever their cryptos, their coins. So like it has a what was the name they even call it? Bot angel or something, a bot angel. So even when they are not typing by themselves, the bot they have to pay for it. So the bot will be tapping on the screen for them. So that's an example of a botnet. So it's a malware that allows devices or nodes to keep repeating, to do a repetitive action. And a botnet, you could do it for more than one, have more than one node doing the same thing for you. Rootkit Trojan, as the name indicates, rootkit consists of two terms, root and kit. So more for Linux, it's Linux that make use of roots. The way you have your in your Windows, when you're not a user, you are an admin. You get, but on Linux, when you're not a user, just a user account, you are at the root level. They call it root instead of an admin. So e-banking Trojan focused on online banking. So that's a Trojan for that. They use it against the customers and all of that. Point of sales, POS. So even POS has Trojan for them to grab sensitive information regarding credit cards, such as credit card numbers, holders name, and CVV numbers. So, which is why some of us, and someone like me, I don't use POS. I'd rather make transfer than using POS because some of these POS are not even encrypted. Like those old ones, they are not even encrypted. So it means your card details can be seen by the handler, whoever is there. So we have virus. Now, a virus is a self-replicating program. It can replicate itself. It's a malware that can replicate. As far as it is on one, it can replicate itself on every other thing. So that is a virus. So it produces its own copy by attaching itself to another program, computer boot sector, or documents. So that is a virus. So we have the stages of the virus lifecycle. The design, that is when the builder designed it. When it is built to replicate itself, it is launched. It's activated when the user performs certain actions, such as running the infected program, and then it is being detected. You detect that something is wrong with this system, with this program. Incorporation, so antivirus software developers assimilate defense against that virus. Okay, after detecting it and assessing on it, okay, these are solutions that they can prefer for it, and execution of the damage routine. So user install antivirus updates and eliminate the virus threats. All right, so we also have ransomware. Yes, so a ransomware is a type of malware that restricts access to the computer system files and folders. It encrypts your files, it encrypts your folders, and demand you to pay some amount of money before it can decrypt it for you, and you can get to use it back. But what's the assurance that if I pay you this money now, later when you're hungry, you still not decrypting, you not come and encrypt my files again and demand more? You get, so that's the issue with the ransomware. Because if you do that to me now, you encrypt my folders and my files, and I pay you to decrypt it. Next time when you're hungry again, you come back and you do the same and ask me to pay. So that is what a ransomware. Now, a computer worm. So a worm is a malicious program that independently replicates, executes, and spread across network connection. Now, one thing about a worm is that it does not need you to maybe install something before it can get to you, or execute something before it can. As far as now, for instance, look at this image here. As far as you're on a network that worm is a worm is present, it automatically just spreads to every other nodes that join that network. Every other device, you just start getting it. So you have to be careful of what you joined. In your network settings on your Windows, you see where they put private network, public networks, which one do you want to connect, and for you to be sure that you are joining what will not give you issue, or using a network that is safe and no malware is on it. All right. So all right. Open, does anybody have a question before we proceed? Someone is raising up their hand, so
Okay, good afternoon. So my question is that there is something that we call data mining technology. Like, is it similar to all this Trojan and worm and stuff like that? So that's just my question.
like the botnet I explained.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, usually botnets are usually used by miners, because they want you to. So usually used by miners. because in one different device, you do not know, your phone might be making money for somebody somewhere because they've already been infected with a botnet. So it might be there mining for somebody and making money for them. All right. Okay. Mr. Simi, you can go on, sir.
All right, thank you, everyone. Our time is past gone, and it's 2 o'clock. So we will continue tomorrow, and I will hand over to Samuel to take over the call. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Blessing.
Whatever it gives to security, it was it gives back to you. Every day is for the thief, or one day is for the owner. That talks about that the thief is 99 times smarter than the owner. That's what it means. One, you must need to think like one.